When it comes to choosing a financial advisor, you want to make sure you make smart decisions. Not only someone with the right credentials, but a team that understands your priorities, your family, and your financial future.
This morning, we welcome Norm Shapiro with Blue Waters Financial Group. Norm, good morning. Thank you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure, Colleen. Thank you.
You and your wife, Dorothy, you're business partners.
Correct.
You've built a practice on integrity, and we'd like our viewers to get to know you a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. So we're a real North meets South situation. My wife, Dorothy, is born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is very rare nowadays. And her mom and dad owned a retail store on East Trade Street back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Funny thing is, John Belk, at the time before he was mayor, actually collected rent on the first of the month on Trade Street.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, she grew up in Cotswold, and I think her big outing was going to the Carolina Theater downtown. I don't know if you guys remember all of that. And then there's a place in Ivies called the Tulip Terrace. So that was, so she's born and raised in the South. And with me, I am from Brooklyn, New York. As you can tell.
We never would have guessed it.
That's right. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I went to Brooklyn College and was in the, my first job out of college was in the apparel industry. So here I am in the late 1970s sitting in my Madison Avenue office when my boss comes to me and said, "Hey, Norm, I need you to transfer to Charlotte, North Carolina." So it was a real big shock to me. As you could see, all my family and friends, they were all in New York. And I said, okay, fine. I'm single, go out there. So, of course, I flew into Charlotte in the late 70s. This was a city maybe about 200,000 people. And, of course, you get to the airport, and as soon as you leave the airport, you see Jim and Tammy Baker, welcome you. You remember there was a big sign out there. And I stayed in a hotel right on South Boulevard in Woodlawn, and I find out there's about 28 restaurants at that time in the city of Charlotte. No university. South Park just went in. Eastland Mall was really hot at that time with the ice skating rink. And out of those 28 restaurants, 5 of them were Shoney's. I don't know if you guys remember Shoney's. You guys remember Shoney's?
Breakfast was a beast. Breakfast was a beast, man. I'm telling you, I love it.
The breakfast is unbelievable, right?
I love the Shoney's breakfast.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was crazy. So here I am from Brooklyn, New York, my first day, never been south in my life. I'm sitting down there. The server comes to me and said, "What would you like to eat?" I said, "I just want some scrambled eggs and toast," right? And she says, "Would you like some grits?" Now, I swear to you guys, I knew nothing about what grits were. I didn't know anything about it. I said, "No, I'll tell you what, I'm really not that hungry. I don't want to try it." So she said, "Why don't you just try some?" I said, "I'll tell you what, just bring me one grit. I'll just try one. If I like it, I'll order some more."
So you want one pebble to say?
I just want one grit. So she said, "You can't. You got to have a bowl." So anyway, that was a little bit about our background, and like I said, we've owned Blue Waters Financial for over 15 years.
Well, how did you make the leap to Blue Water Financial? You said you were in apparel. Quickly.
Yeah, well, just in a quick thing, back in 2004, it was a second career change for me, and I wanted to get into the financial service because my grandfather always preached to me. He lost a lot of money in the crash, 1929. He said, if you ever get into a business, get into something where people will be able to protect their retirement, not lose it on the downside of the market,
Gotcha.
and make sure they have enough income. And I got into that business. I always remember his words.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, what advice do you have for viewers who are approaching retirement?
Well, the best thing, Colleen, is just to have a plan in place, the roadmap for retirement that we always talk about. The two biggest enemies right now for retirees is Wall Street and taxes, those two things. What I mean by that is on Wall Street, when you're in retirement and you're approaching retirement, you got to take a portion of what you have and put it in somewhere safe where if the market does tumble, we had a little bit of a hit recently where the Dow was down, I think, 1,100 points. You want to get some money into principal protected accounts that you could lock your gains in when the market goes up and also generate a guaranteed income where they get a paycheck for life. So those are the kind of things, regarding that. Now, as far as taxes go, you're in a position where you need to minimize those taxes in retirement. Okay? I mean, now how do you minimize it? Well, you could look at some of your traditional IRA that you want to go ahead and maybe convert to a Roth IRA. Roth IRAs are really good for those folks that are putting money away on an annual basis. The money grows tax-free. Okay, and they never have to, it's not subject to any required minimum distributions. So that's one thing. They can convert money from a traditional to a Roth. The second thing is it's called an index IUL, which is a life insurance policy. But if you have something like that, you contribute money in after-tax money, let your money grow tax-deferred and take it out tax-free through policy loans. Would you guys agree, though, in the next 5 to 10 years that taxes are going to be going up?
Yes.
Yes.
100%,
Yes.
right? Because I do a lot of seminars on this as well. Well, here's the situation. If you look at the history of taxes on that, taxes right now are in a position that they're on sale. And what I mean by on sale, the highest bracket as we speak in 2018 is 37%. Those for the high earners, right? If you look at the history of taxes from 1950 all the way to 1980s, 30 years, the highest bracket was at 70%. That's huge. That's double what we have. Now, I'm not saying that our taxes in the next 5, 10 years are going to hit 70, but I think they're really going to start, because we need money, Social Security, budget, and the whole thing. And just a really quick story, in 1943, Ronald Reagan was doing movies in Hollywood, right? 1943. The highest bracket was 94% if you were making above $200,000.
Ouch.
Now, he was doing movies, right? He'd do 2 movies a year, collect $100,000 each film. So he would tell the producers, that's it, I'm finished. If he did one more film, he'd be taxed at 94% on 200, 6 cents on the dollar, right? Can you imagine that?
Goodness.
And then, of course, the state of California would take the balance of it. So he'd make 0.
He makes nothing.
There you go. Yeah, interesting about taxes, though, that people today just need to take some of their money and minimize it. That's the key.
Norm can help you with that. By the way, Blue Waters Financial is giving away copies of Roadmap for Retirement. Call them. The number is 704-790-BLUE. That's 704-790-2583. They also offer complimentary consultations. So call them now to sit down, talk about your retirement for free. 704-790-BLUE is the number to call. Norm Shapiro, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Our pleasure.
All right. Well, coming up on Shop.